It began about a year ago with a broken window. Then someone burned a pride flag in Boise's North End. Days later, there was a report of a man who tried to run over two women with his car after threatening them with homophobic slurs. That man, Matthew Lehih, was arrested on October 12th of last year, and by January, he was charged with several federal hate crimes. Today, Lehih's victims are getting some closure. A federal judge sentenced Matthew Lehih to 37 months in prison with 3 years of parole to follow that. Lehih, well, he owned up to two of his crimes, pleading guilty to two felony counts. One was punching a transgender employee at a library and threatening to stab them, a violation of the Federal Hate Crimes Prevention Act. The other was for trying to run over those two women, Lehih assumed to be lesbian. That charge was vehicular assault, but as part of his plea deal, Lehih admitted to several more anti-LGBTQ+ crimes and attacks, crimes that he couldn't be charged with in the state of Idaho. Here's Andrew Bartline.
Some have a lot to say after becoming the victim of a crime. October 3rd, 2022, someone vandalized the community center.
Blows their sense of security, and all the various groups who come to that space are affected by it. I was devastated.
Judy Cross is on the board.
Confused, wondering who could have done that. Why would they do that?
That same day, just hours apart, a North End couple fell victim to this.
Y'all, this is our progress flag.
Or at least it was.
It was quite a traumatic experience.
Both Brett Perry and his husband.
I actually noticed it the next day, so it had been hanging up all night.
Another targeted victim of a hate crime.
I reported it immediately.
With more documentation to follow.
I am part of the LGBTQ+ community. It's not like we were holding hands or anything.
More targeted attacks.
Nobody else should be able to dictate your own happiness.
Vegas Alessandra.
First and foremost.
She was nearly struck.
And
a driver targeting her with their car. It took weeks to connect the dots back to Matthew Lehih, a 32-year-old man from Oregon.
Our office prosecuted him for those under the federal hate crimes laws.
Idaho U.S. Attorney Josh Hurwitz organized a plea deal leading to the sentencing today.
Mr. Lehih was sentenced to 37 months incarceration.
There's a lot to say.
Like a weight was just taken off my shoulders.
But Lehih's victims are more focused on what's been left unsaid.
Sexual orientation and gender identity, just those 4 words.
Without them, the state of Idaho does not recognize the LGBTQ+ community as a protected class.
We could not have prosecuted this case in Idaho.
These Idahoans have to lean on federal law to see justice in their own state.
And finally, someone listened, someone picked up the issue, someone identified the crime as something that they could follow through with and make a difference.
Lehih was diagnosed with schizophrenia after his arrest. The judge even called his sentencing today an intervention. Lehih's defense pushed the narrative that Lehih is not an example of hate, but rather an example of mental illness. His lawyer showed examples of Lehih getting exposed to what they would call societal problems or things going on in pop culture, BLM, for example. You know, that Black Lives Matter movement, Brian. Well, when that was going down, he was taking what he's seeing on TV and in the world and acting it out himself.
Okay.
Where he started becoming racist, where his childhood friends, one who is even black, said, I don't know him to be racist. I think somebody connected to his family had ALS at one point. He started acting as if he had ALS. So he is now getting medication. Judy Cross, one of the women we talked to, who's part of the community center, that building that was vandalized, she said the man she saw in court today was not the man that she had seen previously. It seems that there's a lot of sympathy from the victims toward Mr. Lehih and what he's gone through.
Interesting. That's good to see. About the community center, has that been put back together?
I know it was thousands of dollars in damages, and part of what was decided in his sentencing today, he's going to have to pay that money back, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen very quickly.
I mean, how does somebody pay off something while they're in prison?
There's like $25 a month installments. There's options, but yeah, it might take some time.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Andrew.